guys, welcome back. So in our last lesson, we created this amorphic shape using this new process called conceptual mass building. We took different objects and then we lofted them together using the create form option. Now I'm ready to load this into my project. Now when you click that button, you might get a notification that there are no projects to load into, just like with our families. So the first thing that I'm going to do is go to the Start menu, select New, and then make a new project. I'll choose the architectural template and hit OK. So once our new project opens, just like before, I'm going to hold Control and hit Tab, which automatically cycles us back into the conceptual mass mode. Now I'll select Load into Project. At this point, you'll get a notice saying that Revit has enabled Show Mass mode so that the newly created mass will be visible. However, these masses may not be able to be printed, depending upon your visibility graphics settings. So the long and short of that is that you're now able to manipulate conceptual mass objects in your Revit file. So now it'll load the model in, and you can either place it on face or place it on a work plane. And in this case, I'll place it right in the middle of my work plane. Now, if you find yourself having any problems at this point, you have a couple of options. One thing you can do is hit Escape and load it back in, or you can also find your conceptual mass under Components as Family 1. And it's called Family 1 because we never saved the conceptual mass before, which is fine for this example, but if you're working on a bigger project, you'll probably want to save it and rename it before you load it in. So once you get it loaded in, you can go ahead to your 3D view, and you'll be able to see your mass. So now that we have it available to work with, I want to create some levels in there. So I'm going to go to my north elevation, and you'll notice that our default is set to level 2 at 10 feet and level 1 at 0, 0. So what I'm going to do now is go up and select Copy. I'll unconstrain it, and then I'll select a point that I want to copy from, and then click on the point I want to copy to. And because I have multiple ones, I can do this several times. Alright, so this is one way to do it, just going one by one, level by level. What's important for this lesson is that each level be a consistent distance apart. Each level starts out 10 feet apart, so keep them 10 feet apart. If you're 12 feet apart, keep it 12 feet apart. Now we can actually speed up this process by hitting Escape, select multiple levels, then hit Copy, and then click up to the next point. So I'll just do that through the rest of my building, and that'll create the multiple levels even faster. So, now that we have created all of our levels, one thing that you might notice is that one of the icons is black while the other one is blue. You'll also notice that all of the black icons aren't even showing up in the project browser. That's because they haven't been activated yet. So we're going to go to the View tab, we'll click on Plan Views, and then we will select Floor Plans. What this will do is show all of the inactive views in our project. And you can do the same with your reflected ceiling plan. Just keep in mind that when you activate all these views, they're all going to open. Now we're going to wind up closing a lot of those, but if you go to your View tab and then select Cascade, you can see all of them open. So what I like to do is once I have one maximized, I'll press the Close Hidden Window button up in the ribbon. Once we do that, if we select Cascade again, then you'll see that we only have our project and our family open. So from this view, now that all of my levels have been activated in the project browser, I'm going to take a moment to look at my model in the 3D view. From here, if you left-click on your conceptual mass, you'll see a button in the ribbon called Mass Floors. What this will do is allow your object to have floors at all of the levels that we just created. So I'll select them all by holding Shift, clicking the level at the bottom of the list, and then clicking the checkbox. Now when I hit OK, you can see from the 3D view as we rotate around that all the different levels have been separated out. That is to say, all of the indicators for a floor plate have now been established in our model. Keep in mind though that this is a mass floor, it's not an actual floor yet. To show this even easier, change the detail level to shaded or to consistent colors. You'll be able to see the floors very clearly. So you can see now all the different floors, all the different elements that make up our model so far. Now we're ready to add some floor plates to our model. Up to now, we've added either floor architectural or floor structural, but we're going to do floor by face here. That's because conceptual masses only have faces, and we have to work with that. So after we select that option, we'll highlight all of the floors in our structure, select whatever floor you need from the Properties window, and then we'll click Create Floor. And now, even though it's a little bit hard to tell under mass mode, that we have now included floor plates on every level of our model. You've probably noticed that our floors are all very blotchy. The reason for that is that it overlaps completely with conceptual mass mode. If you decide you want to turn your mass off, you can always go up to the Massing and Site tab and click Show Mass Form. This lets you see the floor plates more clearly. So this is one of the exciting things about conceptual mass mode. You can design a skyscraper in literally minutes. Or really, any conceptual design that you might want. Another thing that you're doing by using conceptual mass mode is enabling the ability to manipulate objects onto other surfaces. So for example, remember when we made that architectural wall? Well, if we build another one, you'll see you can't really rotate it, or really spin it in any way that deviates off 90 degrees, because it's based on the typical Revit parameters. Now, if I go to Wall, Wall by Face, and then click on one of the faces of my structure, and I'll turn the mass off so you can see it more clearly, you can see that our wall can now follow any type of curve or any type of design you want to create. For our purposes here though, I'm going to undo those, and I'm going to turn our mass mode back on, and I'm going to put a curtain panel system on our structure. Now, we haven't really dealt with curtain panel systems up to now in these courses. Note that we're going to be using a curtain by face. Anyhow, normally we go to a wall, and we choose a curtain wall system. But in this case, we're going to want to use a curtain face, because we're applying it to our conceptual mass. Now keep in mind that although I'm doing all of these at the same time, it's not recommended depending upon your mass size. That's because there's a lot of computing that goes into this, and it may take a long time to process. So if you do all the faces at once, when you hit Create System, it might take a little while to process. There we go. So now we have our curtain system. Now note, if you don't want a 5x10, you can always click into Edit Type and adjust the grid. Alright, that's it for this lesson. In the next video, we'll cover how we can puncture through here and make a stairway that goes all the way up. See you there.